Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Oh, we're close to a hype train. I have no idea what that is, but hey, why not? Who knows? Hi, Elmarin, how are you doing? Oh, I got pain on my finger. One of those kind of days. I am still having camera problems, so I'm down, still only have one camera, so I apologize. It's either this or my hands. So tonight we're gonna get the hands, because I got stuff I want to show, even with my painted fingers. Well, cool. Hello, Doug. Doug DX. Welcome to the channel. We're gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to show up, and then we're gonna jump right into it. We're doing hand stuff tonight, because I'm still down to one camera. Well, I actually have two cameras, I just can't get both of them working at the same time. So, since I have stuff to show tonight, I thought this would be the one that we'd want to see. Hello, Mayor Dude. Long time no chat. Long time no chat. There we go. We'll get it right. Hopefully, everybody hear me okay? Everything coming in all right? Hello, Pixel Pusher. Got all kinds of people showing up tonight. I don't do a show for 2 weeks, and everybody is. All right, good. We want everybody to hear me. Mayor Dud, did you get all your new Amethyl yet? I saw there was a box headed your way. We met at Origins this year. All right, good deal. I hope you liked them. I know you've been waiting for them. Yeah, I realized I had a big old paint spot on my finger. All right, good deal. Well, we're going to go over them a little bit tonight here. Well, we're getting on. We are getting caught up, man. This has been, the last 2 weeks have been a great 2 weeks around here. 2 weeks ago, we had some people into the shop, so we weren't able to do the show that Wednesday night. And then last week, we were producing and packaging up the new release. And I thought that we had done enough to get us by for a little while, but we blew right through those. So this week we've been getting another batch all packaged up. So that's great. We've been waiting for a good big release for a while. So I'm ecstatic over that fact. All right, so, let's start off with, let's talk about the new releases. That's a good place to start, because that's something we all know we already got. All right, so we did it because of being behind and everything like that. We did a 6-figure release. Normally, we won't do 6 figures at one time. I hope never again. That about broke our back. But it was cool to get a lot of stuff out. We got a lot of things out that people have been wanting. Some new parts, some new things. We've got a pixelator, a pillager, here, that we'll use for sizing here to show you a little bit. Now, the first thing that I want to address is I know that Hugh put up a couple of reviews, put together things and everything like that, and which I'm very appreciative of. I think they were very well done. And I told him after he did the first one, I said, you didn't really tell us what you liked or didn't like about them. So I think he went back and made a couple of changes. But I want to bring a couple of things up because I thought his wording was a little off. So I wanted to kind of touch base with those tonight. Now, one of the things that he did show is there is a little bit more cleanup on these figures than probably what you're used to. That is because these are actually injected into molds. Not like we do metal necessarily, but some of the same processes to get there. It's not, we don't use steel molds, so they're not locked together super tight where you can control the amount of material and everything like that. So we can get some flashing. We can sometimes get a part line. We do get little tags on there from where vent holes and the gates where the material actually flows in. Sometimes they're in a place that are easy for us to clip them as we are taking them out of the mold. Other times, because of where they're located at, it's easier for us to clip back a little bit and let the end user do the clip. That way you can go slower about it. You know, when we're doing hundreds of figures at a time, we can't sit there and meticulously clip each one. So you will see gates left on there. We use some little tabs, things that we put onto a model to make it easier for us to build a mold. So you probably saw some of those if you've already got some of the minis. They're the little circle-looking pieces that go up to the figure. So there is that. Now, one of the things that he mentioned that he thought was that they were softer than what we've done in the past, or at least with Kickstarter 3. And I don't think that's the right word, mainly because it's a different material. The Kickstarter 3 was still PVC plastic. It was a higher durometer, so it held detail a little better, and it is stiffer to a degree. But in the whole network of things like that, there's not a lot of difference in the material as it is now than what was in Kickstarter 3. Now, we are playing around with the material a little bit more to see if we can get something that's a little easier to sand or to file. I know that this is that this material will clog up especially the faster you go when you're filing. So if you go a little slower with it, you get a better result. Now we are, like I said, we're playing with our mix a little bit to see if we can get something a little better for sanding for whatnot. But for right now, it's what we got. I think the detail is far superior, even what we did in Kickstarter 3. See if we can zoom in just a little bit here. So I will kind of use these as kind of on our example here. But I know that he put up some pictures where he put some of the older minis up next to the new ones. And I think, obviously, from Kickstarter 1 and Kickstarter 2, the detail is a vast improvement over those. But I don't know if you can see here as well with these, but yeah, well, the trick is, and that's still even with PVC, you run into that. The faster that you go, the more that you change directions or whatnot, that material gets into the, I don't know, we'll say the teeth of the file. So as you go back and forth, it's filled up, so you're not really getting any kind of a sanding. Whereas if you go in one direction with the file, take a second and clean it and come back, that way you're getting fresh teeth all the time, cutting something up. Now, like I said, I don't think softer is the right word, and that's the reason I just wanted to bring that up. I think the material is a little easier. It does take a knife a little better. It does have a little bit more give, so maybe that's where his thought process is, more on the softer side. But if you've got one of these yet, you will see there is very little bend to these things. So, it's apples and oranges, but I just want to make sure people understand. The new material, the dual cast, is far superior to the PVC. It's better detail, it's just a better model material. There is a little more work to it with cleanup because we're kind of going back to some traditional casting methods in a way, but that's something to take into account. Now, the nice thing too is the days of the bent barrels is gone for the most part as we switch over into this dual cast material. Here is a despot. This is one I just grabbed off the pile. It is, and they are super easy to clean up. These literally are all models that I just took out of the pile. The only thing I have done with them is I sprayed them with dual coat when we took pictures of them. That takes some of the shiny off of them. Let me zoom back out a little bit because I get lost on the camera if I'm not paying attention. So, but that's, like I said, these are literally models off the production just that I grabbed and cleaned up. But the nice thing is these do have bend to them as they get thinner, smaller, but they go right back to shape and they come straight. So, the problems that we've had, like I said, the older models, when you order those in, it's still what it is because we're not switching everything over to dual cast right now. And what we're getting ready to do is, luckily, when we did the masters for the Lions and the Commanders, we did resin masters for those and sent one set over to the Chinese. So we still have a handful of resin masters for those guns. So the plan is we are going to put the turrets of the Commanders and the Lions on mold so that we can run those in dual cast so that you will get the straighter, nicer barrels. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. There's still going to be some bendies out in the wild. So I will let you know when those are going. But we are planning on trying to switch out the turrets on the Lions and the Commanders to dual cast. Since we have masters for it, we can put them on mold and go from there. And this is the Despot B. We have been out of Despots for, I don't know, since after the end of last year or whatever like that. We didn't order any more back in because we knew we were going to a new updated Despot. It just took us longer to get to that point. But the new one is here at last. There is some minor changes to it. It's got a different kind of barrel, a different kind of shape on the barrel. It doesn't have the upside down slant. I don't know why that was ever done that way. But more detail added to it. I think it's just a little bit bigger than the old Despots. I didn't have one to drag up here right off the top of my head. But super excited that the Despots are back. So if you've got a rock force, you're good to go. You got Despots, you can come out of the butt now. All right, thank you for the subscribe there, Pixel. Appreciate it. All right, the other new one that we came out with finally is the Warden V. I was super excited about this one. This is the first model from our sculptor, Chris, another Chris, it seems like all my sculptors are named Chris, that is, he's out of Germany. I believe he's actually been showing up on the Discord channel here lately, talking about some minis that he's painted up and has got excited about the game. But this was the first one that he sculpted up for us. We've showed some previews in the past, but we finally got it on mold. Super happy with the way that it turned out. It is far and above superior to the original Warden. I think it matches up to the description of the Warden much, much better. The older Warden had a much more, I don't know, it was more cartoony looking because of that big gun with the way that it was done. The nice thing with the dual coat is we can go small and thin without losing anything. So again, we've got a little bit of bend in the gun to keep it from just breaking, but it's true and straight. Even the little radar holder dish, like here, it's very easy to move because it's so thin, but it is flexible enough that it goes back in place, and so super cool. I love this. So again, another rock model for the rock out there. The Ryoshi knee. This is the new Ryoshi that we came out with. The original Ryoshi in Kickstarter 1 doesn't paint up too bad to a degree, but it's not a very good model. It was one of those that we sent a Mental Master over there that they scanned off of, and we just didn't have as much success with those as the ones that were new mastered or anything like that. So the new Ryoshi knee is out. We have changed up some parts of it. I mean, if you have the two together, I think those were two of the pictures that Hugh put up that I think you will see the differences in them, but by the same token, you can still tell it is the Ryoshi. It's got the right amount of rockets on it now, so everything lines up there. Oh, I did want to go back too. We're in the process of updating all the cards. With the new rules update, again, that's coming out any day, I swear. But if you want to use the new Warden V, the card that is available for it, there's a new SA that comes out that's called Ultra, which basically allows you, instead of taking matched weapons, you can take the one weapon and increase the RAVs by 1. So if you want to play right away with the Warden V, and I don't think point-wise it's really off that much enough to matter right now, but you can just use the Warden V card that's out there and just add a 1 to the RAVs for the gun. I think it's 2-3 or something like that, or 2-4. So it's like 3-5. Just so that you know. Another one that I'm excited for us to finally get out. We did put some of these out at one of the virtual CAVcons as a 3D printed file. This is the Templar Spatha. It is a grav tank. It is a lot of fun to play, but it is now available and just turned out superior. It just is a great looking tank. Again, we get able to get a nice thin barrel, a little bit of give to it, but it stays true and straight. All right. Then, if you're into recon and if you play Amethyl or mercenary wise, we now have the Cobra and the King Cobra. It's a short Chancellor. Yeah. They are both recon models. The King Cobra is an 8 DT. So if you are looking for a recon model with a little more staying power, sacrifice a little speed for more armor, the King Cobra is the way to go. And they are armed for bear. Here is them next to a Pillager for scale purposes. That was the only one I had handy that I could grab. So Pillager is a little shorter because he's so dumpy. But that kind of gives you an idea of where they are scale-wise. Again, super, super happy with the way they turned out. As a result of this, now that we have the Kodiak and the Cobra out, the starting squad for the Amethyl will be updated. Right now it's got the Tiger variant in there that they use. So we will be switching that up. I don't know exactly which the other two will be in there. Probably still the Growler, or not the Growler, but the Bear and maybe the Concussion. I don't know. We'll have to see which one it is. But that way it's a true all Amethyl force now. So we'll be updating that here pretty soon. It's just been waiting for the card updates as well, so I didn't have to do it twice. All right, so that goes over the new release. That's like I said, that's 6 new models. All the vehicles come 2 to a pack. Everything comes with bases if they need them. There is a little bit of modeling involved, which is fine with me. I think that's part of the hobby. So I hope you enjoy them as much as we have getting them ready. I will have an update on the new release. It'll either come right at the end of the month or the first of next month. Since we were behind on these, it's kind of draped over into our next release, but I believe it's going to be at least a CAV and at least 1 vehicle, maybe 2 vehicles. We may try to do 3. I'm pretty sure that the CAV is going to be the Mastodon. So if that's one that you've been waiting for, ADON players, be ready. It's it comes with weapons to do 2 variants of it as well. So I think that's going to be a fun one that everybody's going to enjoy. I know that we've previewed a rendering of them, I believe, that are probably on our Facebook page somewhere. Once I've got that confirmed that that's going to be them in the next day or two, next week I will have some pictures and for you to show off. All right. Any questions? If you want to bow at me now or say, "Oh, thank you, CAVBoss. Oh, thank you, CAVBoss." I am willing to accept sacrifices at this point. Speaking of sacrifices, yeah. So I live in a small town outside Wichita, where our shop is and our deal and everything like that. And we have a lady up the street. This is totally off topic, but thank you, Pixel. So she's got a house, and then she bought a house that's kind of around the corner that faces one of the main, or Central Avenue, the main street that comes through there. So there was a house there, so she tore down this house and put in, I guess, some kind of a park or something like this. I'll probably get in trouble for talking about this if my wife finds out about it. But they've come in and they which is fine. I mean, they put some benches and some plants and stuff like that. But in the center of this thing now, they have put this giant piece of limestone that's shaped like this. And it's probably, I don't know, a foot thick or whatever like that. And then they water jetted a hole through it. that looks like this. Now, this thing is probably, I don't know, every bit of 10 feet tall, if not probably 15 feet tall, somewhere in there. So that makes this, I mean, this is big enough to pass a human body through. This hole. So I'm scared as to what the purpose of this stone is. I don't know if we're dealing with a Wiccan or what's going on here, but there is a chance that you may hear on the news soon of some weird sacrificial thing going on in El Dorado, Kansas. If you do, check on me and make sure I'm still alive, just in case, because it may be me. I don't think she can fit me through the hole, but she might get my head through there, which it might be all they need. I don't know. All right, back on topic. Oh, by the way, I thought as part of the new release that we were going to manage to get the Vindicator. This is a dual cast Vindicator. It is holy. It is a holy obelisk. I'm expecting, like I said, I don't know, virgin sacrifices or 8 men coming out to, and the theme from 2021 or 2001 to start playing or something. I don't know. It's scaring me for sure. So we did get the Vindicator in and put it on mold with dual cast. Unfortunately, the way the master was originally done, it was for the resin casting, and we tried to push it through with the dual cast, and it just isn't working. Because of the shape of it is and the way that we did it, it's staying too hot in this area, so it's not filling in like it should. Other than that, the model is beautiful. It is super detailed. It just turned out great. But because of that spot, I think out of, I don't know how many we tried to cast up, this one is one of the better ones, but it's still got a little bit of ripple to it. So we are going to have to remaster it. So it'll be coming in the next couple of months, but I just wanted to, this will be the last one of the 5 that we did in the Kickstarter in resin. But if you're Mount Vernon, the Vindicator is coming. We're getting there. I do know, and the reason I talk about that is that kind of leads into a new product that we have, back in the past, we've talked about that we were trying to get to it. But we have managed now to finally get caught up enough and get these out there. As we go along, we get, and I know I've kind of talked about this before, so when they send models over here from China, they come complete in a little bag. They're one model to a bag, and we open them up and repackage them. Sometimes they're missing pieces, or they're not the right pieces are in them, and we catch a lot of it. We don't always catch all of it, so I apologize when you get one of those. But we are packaging so fast that the time to stop, it's just more economical for us to replace one to somebody when they find one. But anytime that is, we don't have a box of pieces to go to get the piece that we need out of it. So over the last couple of years, we have collected those pieces in buckets. When we do get a request from a customer that, hey, I'm missing this piece, then we have to go out there and open one up and take that piece out and send it to them. And then the rest of the model goes into the bucket. Now, luckily with the dual cast, we actually cast those pieces up. So going forward, when we need to do that, we can just get the piece that we need. And hopefully that'll help also, now that we're physically handling each piece, that'll help us catch pieces that are not, or when they're not in there or whatever. But coming up with dual cast, well, again, I apologize that you're missing a piece, but like I said, we try to get them out as quick as we can when you need them. So, but now that we're casting in-house, also we get models like the Vindicator that as we start up the molds and warm them up or whatever, or we get a miscast, or just somebody's not holding their tongue right or whatever, we're going to start having miscast models as well. Also, we 3D print things from time to time when we're testing out new models and stuff like that. And again, those pieces have got thrown into the buckets, over time and stuff like that. There's some off-white one pieces in there that are from test runs that the Chinese do. They run whatever, when they're testing the molds, they run several copies of it in just whatever material they have loaded up in the machine at the time. And they send those to us to look at and check off of. So that's reading, if you see some off-white pieces that are in there for a while, you'll see that. So anyway, so we've got these buckets of pieces that showed up. And we have talked about in the past, because people are always wanting to mod up and they want extra pieces and stuff like that. I'm hoping down the road that we can do some weapon packs, some things like that for that. But for now, we have come up with these. These are basically, they're about 4 ounces worth of pieces. So it's quite a bundle of pieces. Sorry, the reflection is going to kind of show up a little bit there. But what I ended up doing with these is we went through and then we sorted everything out to a degree. So we cut as many sprues off that we could, so that those weren't getting counted into the weight, and sorted everything into CAV bodies and those parts into weapons, into vehicle bodies, and aircraft is just all bodies and stuff like that. And then weigh them out so that I know with a lot of other bit bags that I kind of looked like that I looked on the internet for, it looked like people were just taking handfuls of stuff and throwing in there without any thought. So you might get a bag that's all torsos from one guy or something like that. And I wouldn't be very happy about blind luck and stuff like that. So what we ended up doing is we come up with the formula as to how we're picking pieces for this. About half of these packs are CAV body parts, as far as torsos, legs, feet, arms, or whatever, if there's not a weapon on them or whatever. Then about a fourth of them are weapon pieces, and those might be off of vehicles, those might be off aircraft, they might be off of CAVs. But I'm looking here and I'm seeing Chancellor guns, I'm seeing some Tiger guns, there's a Commander turret, looks like a full Lynx body in there for an aircraft. So there's quite a few. There's some treads, some arm, shoulder missile packs. So I think there's a good assortment that you'll get in there. Now, like I said, every one will be different, because like this one's got, I see some Centurion guns. There's a Lion turret. Looks like some missile pods. Oh, there's 2 Lion turrets in there. There's some treads. And we tried to, like here, whatever, I think these are ogre legs maybe or something. I don't know. But, if they come sprued together, we try to keep the 2 legs and the torso, that way you've got them. So there's some great pieces in here to mod up and do some things with, either if you're trying to change something into a different thing. Or like I said, there's probably enough stuff in here to make 2 or 3 Frankenstein calves. These will just go till we run out of stuff. Of course, we're always bringing new stuff in when we do packaging. But we've got a bunch of it right now because it's piled up for the last 2 years. So for a while, we've got more packs than we normally will have. But they're random, and when they're gone, they're gone. So as we get back in stock, we'll put them back in. So these are our scrapyard bits bag. Now, we've kind of made a funny with it. I don't know if you have the original CAV version, CAV 1. When I put that book together, I put a bunch of company ads, some fake ads in it and stuff like that. So one of the companies that are in there is Duval Salvage and Metal Works. So I brought them back for the sake of our little story behind our scrap bag packs. So that's where the Duval Salvage and Metal Works comes from. So don't pay new when you can buy used. But if you have CAV 1, you'll find the ad in there. and you'll also see who Sergeant somebody is or whatever. Okay. Any questions? Any thoughts? These are $12.99 a bag. And like I said, there's a chance that there's full vehicles in here. I don't think you'll ever get necessarily a complete CAV of one kind or whatever. That might change a little with the dual cast as we, have some of those come up or whatnot. But cool, I think they're great. So, scrapyard goods bags. Well, yeah, I mean, they're for anything. I mean, you can cut them up and use them for anything that you want. Especially on the treads. I just as I was looking at some of this, I'm like, I could see these, ogre-like tanks, from Ogre, the GEV, with 2 sets of tracks or something like that. So, and there's, like I said, there might be some 3D. There's not a whole lot of 3D printed parts, but every once in a while there might get some. There's some of the Chinese pre-master things that I was showing you, talking about that are in this kind of off-white collar. But you can see there's a Starhawk gun. Looks like a cataphract leg. There's somebody's little arm gun there. All kind of goodies. So anyway, something to look at if that's something you want, if you're interested in. Okay, now speaking of our new sculptor, Chris in Germany, we are going to see if we can. I wanted to show off yes, good. Thank you for reminding me. So we finally got the 3D printed master in. They had a hell of a time printing that body. The body was just, the size of it was just giving them all kinds of heck. So they finally got one printed. We got them 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They actually, the company that printed them for us was who we had in town. They first came down to Reaper down in Dallas, so we were down there at first and went down there to pick them up, and so they delivered them to me. The person that's doing our resin casting on these is down in Fort Worth. So the minute after he handed me the masters, I took them over to the resin caster. All the molds are made. He is supposed to be getting me 2 or 3 copies for me to send off. Todd Farnholtz is going to paint one up again for the box art and for us to show off. So I'm expecting that hopefully tomorrow or Friday. I talked to him Monday and he thought he was getting them done and ready to send to me. I know that his plan is to have the initial delivery of them. We're just doing 100 of them, again, like we did the Dictator. So his plan is to have at least 50 of them to me by the end of the month. So that's where we're at, FYI. So hang in there. They are coming. All right, so back to Chris. So one of the models that he was really interested in doing and that we've been working with him together is the Ritter Typhoon. We'd like to get a nice attack airplane in there for him. So he has sent me the initial STL file that we're going to use to make corrections off of. So on a lark, I 3D printed one up today, and let's see, the card is out there already. I didn't make a card. Let me see if I can make this work. Maybe. I may have to do this from scratch. I was kind of at the last minute rushing this in there, so let's see, we want to do a window capture. And source, window. That's not going to work. All right, let's do this. Try it this way. Let's just do display capture. Is that what I want? Or can I play a video? Will it let me play a video? Color source, DI source. That's the browser source, display capture. You'd think the darn thing would let you play a video. Because it's an MPA. Let's see here. All right, I'll just do it this way. We'll do display capturing. Okay, so hopefully, all right, hopefully that's going to pop up here in a minute. All right, so I give you the Typhoon. Like I said, this is a Ritter attack craft. It has both vector thrust and a VTOL bottom thrust. I don't know, Ilmarin. It depends. No, whatever. We got plenty of memory. Play again. We'll just have to see how good the Starhawk does. I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to do one for each one. I know, especially, if we go ahead and do the Kickstarter for the RPG, that would be cool to be able to have some CAVs for that. Now, this is not the final version. There's some things on it that we have to change up that for casting purposes and just to look a little different and things like that. So, but like I said, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. We did kind of use the Stuka a little bit as a starting point for it. So you might notice with the wings and the design a little bit, it has kind of a Stuka look to it. All right, so we can go back and let's go back to our display here. We'll turn that off. Okay, so, and here is the scaled 3D print of it. Here's the Vindicator next to it to give you an idea size-wise. I'm hoping by the time we have this done and finalized, that it'll be kind of like the crossbow, that it'll be a one-piece casting. I think it will. I think we'll be able to put it in mold and be able to hit it in one piece. Oh, might be a little bit close there. It's kind of white. Might be, hopefully it doesn't wash out too much. We didn't have a pinhole in it yet, so I had to drill a hole for it. So it's off a little, center off a little bit. I think that really shows off the Stuka. Well, luckily we are going to have some A-to-E's planes coming out too. I know the Eagle is pretty much ready, and then I know we've got a couple of others. I know the Terrans have got the Kick-U coming, and then the what was another plane that they had? The Overlord, maybe something like that. I'll have to go see. I love planes. I mean, I know they don't get played as much, and there's many of them on the board, but they're just so cool looking. We may end up having to do some kind of a plane add-on or something like that we can have some aerial fights. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-pack. You'd have to look up the card. The card's on the downloads page. Here we can go back. We can look right quick and see here what it was. Let's go back to. Naturally. Let's see, downloads. Card Ritter. And then Typhoon. And then okay. Yeah, so the Typhoon is a 5DT attack aircraft. It is considered a VTOL with that thing on the bottom. Yeah, it has 4 medium LBGs. So, nasty, nasty little guy. Good armor. Not the greatest movement for aircraft, but enough for him to get double time. Countermeasures 1, so that'll help him if you're trying to target lock him. So he'll be fun. He'll be a fun one to play. Yeah, big arm. All right. Let's see. Okay, yes, CAVCon. That's why I was just getting ready. Well, first off is I want to go over, and this probably doesn't apply to a lot of you guys, but a lot of people watch this on YouTube afterwards. So I want to make sure that I put it on the record for them. So last week, Reaper Miniatures down at their headquarters in Denton, Texas, opened up their game store. If you get a chance, go to their website or to their Facebook page and look at some of the pictures. This thing's huge. I mean, it's a giant room. They're going to have an attached sandwich shop to it. It's got TVs all up around it playing, different hobby things. Tables. CAV has its own section with stuff that we're going to be adding to and putting some stuff in there for the look and whatnot. But what is going to start happening, I'm hoping that it will start next month, is we are going to have a CAV day once a month. Probably be the third Saturday and Sunday of each month. And basically, Saturday will be we'll set up a couple boards that people can come in and play in, ask questions. We'll do demos. We'll set that up a little somewhere separate, let players play on the big boards. Sunday will be a kind of a painting day or a force building day. But where this kind of interacts with everybody else is we are going to be experimenting with a couple of kind of some leagues and some things that we can personalize and get the bugs and the kinks worked out of that we can share with some other stores and other people. We're finally getting our demo program, rolling it out the door. So we have T-shirts, so that's a big plus. So that's something to look forward to. I'm hoping that we will have the first one next month. We're working on that now, making sure that we have everything. But if you're in the Denton area, it's going to be worth the drive, and I'll be down there, and we'll have a good time. Now, as far as CAVCon, we were trying to do a virtual one here, actually this weekend. But with everything that came up, with the new Reaper game store opening up, it just wasn't going to come about. So I don't know that we will get a virtual one in before the actual physical one over Labor Day weekend. So. And also, as far as the game weekend, the games day, CAV Games Day at Reaper, we will be broadcasting that on our Twitch during the whole time. So we'll set up a couple of cameras, and maybe try to spend an hour each day or something talking. And other than that, you'll be able to come at any point and watch what's being played and whatnot. But the physical CAVCon will be over Labor Day. I was hoping to have the full slate of events listed. I'm waiting on final table count and area that we have. But that's 4 days. We probably will end up doing a tournament. I'm not 100% sure. This is kind of again, we're coming off of 2 years of COVID. This is their first full show again. We'll be back down there as a vendor, and like I said, we'll have a lot of cool stuff set up for that. There is a painting contest, physical one. I don't know that we're going to try to do a virtual one for it and just wait till we do the actual CAVCon thing. I am still trying to push through an RPG Kickstarter in October. It's kind of fallen to the wayside with everything else going on, but hopefully, if we can get, if I can get a week where I can work on it and get it finished up, we should have some things together for that. So the rules update is coming. It is finished. I just have to finish laying it out. Is really where it's at. So I apologize. I know that I said it was going to be out at the end of June, and it just didn't happen. Origins got in the way. Everything else, it's finally speeding up for dual cast and everything. We're trying to get some new people in here to help. I'm trying to get me a new writer to come in and help me finish up on the Rules of Engagement campaign book and the JOR. JOR is pretty much done other than art. I'm still waiting on all the art for it. But hopefully we're going to be turning and burning all this pretty quick. So that's all I have at the moment to really go over. So everybody's been kind of quiet, but I am open to questions. Hopefully we won't go back to the worrying about the sacrificial stone around the corner from my house. Luckily, all my children have moved out, so hopefully they won't grab none of those. Da, 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 da. Laying them on their back where they're easier to see. I'm really excited if we get for the mammoth to come out. It'll make a good table centerpiece. Yeah. Is there a new version of the rules being published? It's kinda Pixel. It is a rules update where we basically we've taken that 30-page rule section out of the rule book. We've updated that with whatever errata that we've had. Come on, go back in the there you go. And then new as in after origins. Yes, yeah, it's and it's got some new rules in it. A couple that we've changed as well. But it's going to be a PDF release. So there's nothing to buy. You'll just download it, and it'll have that rules section all in one place for you to either print out or keep it on a computer or whatever. Then it's going to be kind of a living document. So over the next 2 or 3 months after we release it, as people go through it and help us catch typos or, this just isn't working, a couple of the new things or whatever, we'll be able to adjust on the fly and update the PDF as we go. When I feel like that we have that solid enough, it will be included in the Rules of Engagement book as a supplement in the book. So there's not a new rule book, core rule book to buy. So we're not invalidating the rule book that you have. But the JOR will have the updated construction system in it. And then the Rules of Engagement will have the core rule set published in it. It is your duty to break it so you can tweak it. Yes. I mean, there's nothing super crazy that we're changing up. As far, like I said, a lot of it's the errata stuff. There's a couple of things that we've tweaked. There's a couple of new rules that we've added. It worked out really good still at Reaper when we did Warlord that way. We did Warlord, the original rule book, and then we put out the Savage North, which was an all-new book, but we reprinted the core rules in it from the original book with the errata. That way, you're getting a book you're going to get anyway, and you're not invalidating a book that you already have. There's all that background stuff and everything that's all in that book. There's no reason to redo all that right now. Now, with that being said, down the road, are we going to publish a new rule book? Yes. When that's going to happen, I don't know. Just because we're almost out. There's just almost no rule books left. So there's really no reason to reprint the book, without updating it with the new stuff. So, but that's not anything that's going to happen anytime soon. And it's not something that you'll even have to buy. Like I said, it's strictly more for newer players, or if you just want to have one, because the parts that are going to change are going to be reprinted in the Rules of Engagement and in the JOR, the first one. So you'll have everything that you need. But the nice thing too is, I know everybody's been screaming for a PDF, but that'll put the core rules in a PDF that you'll be able to put up on your iPad or something like that to have. The sad part of it is, because of some of the changes and tweaks, the construction program and the force manager are not going to be as accurate as they are right now. I think that the force manager will be able to update it enough that it'll still be workable. The JOR, it's done. We're trying to get all the artwork for it. There's so much artwork going into this book. It is the biggest art book I have ever done. I mean, literally every 2 pages has 3, 4, 5 different CAVs on it with paint schemes, and there's schematic drawings of the model and things like that. There's just so much art. So that's been the holdup there with it, but we're getting there. I'm cracking the whip on the artists. The good thing is, though, with it being delayed because of the rules update, and with the rules update coming on, we will be able to publish the updated construction system in there. But going back, the problem with the program is that's a Windows-based program, and the person that we originally had design that is no longer available. And I don't think it's something that we can take and fix from the back end. So my hope is I'm trying to find somebody that will be able to update it and make it browser-based. So that's where we're working at right now. Both of my sons are computer science majors, and hopefully, I got one getting ready to graduate next year. They're going to get close enough that worst case is I can try to talk them into updating and getting us a browser-based version. I think that'll work better for everybody anyway. All right, well, we have hit the witching hour. It's 9 o'clock, my time, 10 o'clock for Mayor Dude, and a lot of you East Coast guys. So that's where we're at. I'll be next week back on. Again, like I said, I'll have more information on CAVCon, the models for the new release. Hopefully I may have some 3D prints of them. And anything from there? Any last minute statements, questions that you need to throw in before I call it a night and get home for my dinner? All right. Good show, guys. Thank you all for showing up. I'll be throwing this up on YouTube right quick before I get out of here. And everybody, take care. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. As always, if you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook, on our forums. I'm sorry I haven't been on Discord for a while. And will it be on Twitch? I don't know if the physical one, how much of it we can, because we are limited by bandwidth at the convention center, and Reaper does a lot of online stuff there. So I don't know how much bandwidth we'll have to be able to push off, but we are going to do our best to try to have at least a camera up and running. Worst case, a lot of it, maybe not so much directly, you'll be able to watch on the Reaper channel. So anyway, I know parts of times they click off to some other guests that are feeding direct into their feed that are not on site, and that might be times that we can grab some bandwidth. So, well, as we get that schedule solidified, we'll let you know. All right, so take care, stay out of trouble, and I'll talk to you all later. Good night.